Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another historical humans heritage. And on today's episode, we're going to Trondheim Klondike, which is located along the Yukon River in the northwest region of Canada, eh?
Yep. Yep. It is within the homeland of the Trondheim Wet'suwet'en First Nation. I apologize for my pronunciation. We really don't know how to say your name, but we are trying our best.
We will organize the war party at
Yep.
7.
Yes. Thank you. Do get in line. I've butchered quite a few names in my time here, including a tribe in Illinois, so I believe they get first shot.
Oh, the
Uh,
Potawatomi?
yes, yes, the things I cannot say.
The Potawatomi,
English is hard, and I can barely speak that.
Yeah, but this is the Klondike peoples, which there's their little neck of the woods in pretty much what the permafrost, the tundra, like it's out in the
Yeah,
middle of
yeah.
nowhere.
It's referred to as the subarctic region, meaning that yes, if you dig enough, you will find ground.
Wow.
But the region and the sites that have been made into UNESCO World Heritage Sites just last year in 2023 um, focus on the archaeological and historical sources that reflect the indigenous people's adaptations to the Klondike Gold Rush at the end of the 19th century.
Really?
This is effectively this UNESCO World Heritage Site is effectively how did an indigenous people adapt to survive a massive influx of incredibly greedy foreigners into their land.
Which the Klondike Gold Rush, for those who didn't know, in Klondike, Alaska, there was gold that was found at the end of the 19th century and led to a mass rush of prospectors. It's usually referred to as the last great American gold rush, but brought a lot of people, a lot of swindlers, a lot of society's best top-notch people, and
Yeah.
this was a good stopping point along the way when you're making your journey up north.
Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, these sites demonstrate the adaptation of the indigenous people to the colonial presence, as well as to how the colonists kind of got on with showing up in this region and just starting to live here, despite literally no one inviting them.
Like any colonists? Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Um,
The UNESCO World Heritage Site is a serial property with 8 component parts. That means there are 8 separate locations that are considered one UNESCO World Heritage site. Each individual location will have its individual protections and guidelines, but they are all grouped together because they are all historically significant for the same reason. And that is this gold rush.
and it's pretty much a combination of both. And this is a really interesting one because you have the location of Fort Reliance, which was a fur trading fort that was established in 1874. And then the Klondike Gold Rush really kicked off in 1896 to 1898.
Yeah.
So it shows a lot of structures and settlement patterns that drastically contrast the traditional life ways and styles of the indigenous in this region. So it shows a lot of adaptation right at the forefront. And this is an interesting one too because while it had a lot of influence from colonialist powers, it was also fairly isolated.
Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, we are in the Rocky Mountain region along the effectively borderlands between Alaska and Canada. These are cold, mountainous lands. So it is not a place that is going to become a major hub of activity with massive cities and a lot of centralized political attention. It's going to exist on the fringe of society's notice. It's the periphery.
It's kind of interesting just because this has a lot of this really is very indigenous oriented with some European flair. Like you see the Euro colonial settlement of the structures and the buildings that are constructed,
Yeah.
but still maintaining a lot of tribal names, a lot of tribal identity, tribal location. Like it's just this weird intersection of the two, and it
Yeah.
maintains a good bit of their integrity. Like there is a pretty sizable buffer zone that helps protect the views and view sheds, considering they're in a riverine landscape.
Oh yeah.
And they really don't have to worry about development or neglect.
Yeah, the area is maintained by the people who are already living in it, just as it has been for thousands of years. And there's not really a major influx of either industry or tourism coming to upset the existing balance, which is really quite nice. Like it's a relatively peaceful preservation, which is all too rare to see, as we too often have to talk about the ills of urbanization, industrialization, and tourism threatening the very things that made these places so great. Here with Klondike, they don't have that big of a threat from these things. They're able to just have their heritage and exist peaceably for the most part.
And part of that also ties into the protection because the property has a lot of strong protections on pretty much all four levels of governance, which includes territorial, federal, municipal, and tribal. And it all works together with a memorandum of understanding, which basically says, hey, we're on the same page here. We all agree this is how things should be run. And it's
Yep.
just a legal document that says, hey, we all agree. And it has a joint management plan that provides a framework for the four levels of government that have regulatory management, and administrative responsibilities for the properties. So it talks about principles, objectives, and responsibilities of every partner and relies on existing management plans for the individual designated heritage site. So it's got quite a structured and rigid plan in place to help keep it that way, to keep it successful, and to keep it protected from any outside influences or factors, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, yeah. To see it this well unified and this concisely put together is an all too rare thing. We're very happy to see it. Like just everyone is involved and everyone knows their role and is, you know, hopefully performing it. It's only been about a year on the books here, so hopefully everything's still going well for them. They got everything up and running that they need
Well, and the nice
to
thing
keep this
too,
place going.
well, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a nice thing, but they're also looking forward as well. They're looking at long term impacts and management challenges, and one of the biggest ones is the effects of climate change and other environmental factors, and along with trying to prevent threats from mineral exploitation.
Oh yeah,
So, no
yeah,
massive open pit mines or quarries are going to be put in that hillside, which is honestly phenomenal.
yep, yeah. We live on an edge of mountains known for gold. There is definitely a lot of needs for protecting everything under the site, everything around the site. Like there's that extra need of just doing the sonar level penetration of like and everything immediately under it. Also, no touching.
Yeah, we had to do a little bit extra, but
Don't. Yeah.
that's a great point for us to wrap up today. It's a very interesting UNESCO site, Canada's own, and thought this would be kind of a cool one to talk about. We don't really talk about more modern gold rush type things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very fun thing to see here.
But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.